Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about the 3 pillars in order to find high-ticket design clients. Now this is going to be a part of a presentation which is part of a course on how to find high-ticket design clients, which I recently am about to relaunch. So stay tuned on that. And I also want to remind you that I have a free UI UX design course, which you can find clicking the link in the description. But now without further ado, let's jump right into the presentation, since at the end of it, you're going to understand the high level picture when it comes to outreach, finding clients, what could potentially be the problems which you're currently facing. So this is going to be really useful if you're just starting out especially, but also for seasoned designers. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 pillars in order to find clients. And this is going to be essential since it's going to give you an overview of what's going on exactly when it comes to the entire structure and funnel which you're creating in order to land that desired client, project, or job that you're looking for. So the very first element is the portfolio. As you may know, the portfolio is essentially going to enable them to see the experience which you have, and it's going to create interest for them to hop on a call with you. And the portfolio is going to be an essential part in your outreach, since it's going to determine the type of clients that are going to hop on a call with you and your conversion rate. So it's extremely important to align your portfolio with the type of outreach that you're gonna do. So for example, if in your portfolio you're showing a lot of web design, but you're looking to do outreach and find clients for dashboard design projects, so more UI UX towards design, well, that's going to be an issue. And you might wonder why the outreach is not going to be as effective. And the answer is simply that in your portfolio, you have stuff to fix. And that is, you want to show more web apps and more UI UX design projects. And you can do that by either, of course, getting and putting past clients. Case studies are really great to have in your portfolio, but they're not a must. And I never had a case study really and still landed really good clients. But the most important thing to consider is that you want to align your portfolio with your outreach as much as you can. And you can do that in multiple ways. But you always have to keep an eye on your portfolio, because you have to see your portfolio as the product that you're trying to sell. And the outreach, which is the very next stage, is going to essentially create the awareness that you exist and stimulate a prospect, which is a potential client, to get in touch with you in order to help them solve their problems. Now, as you can see from this dynamic, the outreach is essentially considering just a portion of this entire funnel. So it's not the end all be all. There aren't any tricks and there aren't any really ways that you can kind of like game the system. A big part of it is going to be the portfolio, and the outreach is essentially going to enable someone who didn't know about your existence to know about you, and it's going to enable you to land on sales calls, which is the third part in this entire system. And the sales call, usually it's where you make the money, it's where you land the project or the contract. And sometimes it can be done entirely via email. But usually what I found in my experience is that, especially when you're pricing medium and high ticket, it's so much better to hop on a sales call. So I would always do a sales call with a new client. Then when you're working with them, maybe you can communicate more via text. But the sales call is going to be essential, since you're going to understand your prospect needs and you're both going to evaluate if there is a fit to work together. And essentially the outreach is that just the stage in between. So as a summary, all of them are equally important, and they work synergically within each other. because each and every one has its own place in this funnel, in this process. So as you can see, it all starts with the portfolio, and that's going to communicate your experience and how you can help them and what is your services that you provide. And I'm going to add a video where I'm going to explain all the basic essentials of what you need to include in your portfolio in order to maximize your chances to succeed and hop on that call. And then the outreach is essentially the stage in between. It's essentially creating the stimulus. So as you can see, the outreach isn't even that important. The outreach is just about getting them to know you from a high level and stimulate the desire to hop on a call with you or to start a discussion essentially. So you could potentially, if you have a good portfolio and your pitch is good, you can outreach however you want. You could send someone an email or a text message or reach out via Facebook or LinkedIn. You don't really care about how that person reached out to you if there is an opportunity for them to solve one of your problems and that you clearly see that. Imagine it if, for example, you're in a dating world. This is a completely different example, but the same principle applies. Because if, for example, you're a male and you're looking for a female, if a nice-looking female reach out to you via WhatsApp, via Tinder, via email, via LinkedIn, via Facebook, you don't really care if there is an opportunity. So the same is true in the work environment, and you have to treat the outreach as it is. So there's going to be many methods which I'm going to share in this course on how to outreach to prospects and potential clients, and they all work pretty much. They all pretty much work, but there are pros and cons, and you have to do it in the right way. Otherwise, you're not going to yield the results that you desire. And that's what this course is all about. I'm going to teach you all of that in a moment. And then after that, you have to consider the sales call as the very last stage where you're going to make the most amount of money. So let's continue with the next video and let's bring forward with these concepts.